Okay, I'm ready.
You're in the camera right now, so
Welcome.
Yeah, stop leaning over there.
Okay, I appreciate you all. Let's go.
we have to clap.
We got to clap.
Clap.
You got to clap.
I gotta clap?
You're on your own camera. Obviously, you got to clap.
You're
I don't know how it
Where
works.
should we have to share a camera?
No, you guys are wide. Or is it reversed?
Yeah, you can.
Maybe
only,
I need the camera by myself because I'm wide.
We can't go wide enough to
it's
get
that fat head.
Could be.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to an episode of the Slightly Serious Sign podcast. We don't know when this episode is going to come out. Thank you to our sponsors, Nakusa and Metamark. That might be a preview of what we're going to talk about.
Did we
today.
lose a sponsor?
Yeah, we lost a podcast sponsor.
We lost a podcast.
I'm hoping hopefully by the time you guys hear this episode, I have a replacement for them, so they'll go in right here.
Right here.
Hopefully there's someone there. Otherwise, this was just
Always
a really
look
awkward pause.
Oh boy.
Listen, I put that up there because when we went to see one vendor that was Chinese, he bowed when he shook our hands. But has he never seen the Karate Kid? Always look eye. He bowed down. I'm like, I went like I remember watching the Karate Kid. Always look eye. I want to smack him.
Cultural reference is just one singular movie. No idea how accurate.
Yeah, but
it
I
is.
think what he was doing is looking down to see if you're going to kick him.
Oh, well, listen.
He heard stories. He
when
listens to
he
the podcast.
first introduced himself, I wasn't prepared for it. When he was going to do it again, I almost want to smack him on the head and go, always look eye. Like Mr. Miyagi did in the movie.
Oh boy.
But I didn't.
We're getting invited
I just shook his hand and like, I thought, you need to watch that movie.
Yeah.
He probably saw it and just went, not real.
I mean, how do you know? I mean, I know he's Chinese, but how do you know the actual culture if you haven't seen the movie? Because that's how we learn about these things.
Yeah.
But that's Hollywood
guaranteed.
culture.
Have you ever seen, though, Mr. Miyagi's actually like stand-up comedy?
No.
Like,
I
you
didn't
know
even know he did stand-up comedy.
I didn't know that either.
Do you know he talks
in the
just
80s?
like us?
You know,
Oh, and he's got an accent that
You
he's
know-
He
using?
doesn't even have an accent, like
no,
in
who
his
doesn't
comedy
talk just
routine.
like us.
He talks just like us in the regular, like in his comedy act. Yeah, he was a comedian.
That's funny.
Interesting.
So we're going to talk about something that happened at the ISA show, but we'll start with what you just mentioned that Domingo and I should bring up is that we did meet a celebrity
We did meet a celebrity
at the show.
Tony.
Domingo is convinced that it was a fake Tony.
I
at
think
the
it was
show.
a fake Tony. The way that he was talking, it was a fake Tony. I
looked
think
very
I got
similar.
duped.
Tony
but-
does great impressions, though.
He does.
If
Yes,
you
he
ever
does.
follow Tony on TikTok, he does the best sign videos, way better than ours. I mean, we could do ours like that if we put it on TikTok and rated them R.
Didn't put them under. We put
mean,
them
we
under
could-
the Slightly Serious podcast.
Trust me, we've thought of saying some of the same things he did.
Yeah.
We just knew we couldn't get away with it.
Correct.
What's up, homie? It's Tony.
And if Wensco can't get away with it, we probably shouldn't be out there.
So if you don't know who Tony is, look up. Well, there's a few actually. Apparently, he's got a boatload of accounts. I'm assuming he's planning on getting kicked off or something. That's why he's got
Gotta
so
have a
many. But
backup.
anyways, it's LC Sign on TikTok. You can look him up.
We have a photograph, but I don't know if we're going to post it yet. But
Well, I mean, we could show you here. I think I'd just like to do it knowing that Rick then has to ask me later, be like, hey, are you
Yeah.
actually going to send me this picture that you told people you're going to send me?
yeah, your hand's way too high. It's going to be down there.
Here? It's on the screen. Right here. Disclaimer. I don't have a disclaimer though. Rick says we should put a disclaimer in here before we get into our topic, but
What's the disclaimer?
the views expressed on this podcast
is not
are not
Yeah.
of ESPN or its affiliates. Oh, sorry, that's the Pat McAfee one. Sorry. The views expressed here are the views of the Slightly Serious Sign podcast. I
Okay.
was going to say not of Wensco, but that feels like I'm
are we
lying.
not Wensco?
It feels like I'm lying to you.
Anyways, let's talk about what we came here to talk about. So let's back up 1 year, right? So the reason we started this podcast,
You're in 3 months. Yeah.
the reason we're sitting right here is from a principal deal that they did with us, 15 months ago.
December
of 2023.
3.
So what happened in that one was we were principal dealers forever.
How long?
I don't even know how long.
7 years?
Yeah, 7, 8 years,
Something like
whatever.
that.
We signed up when they barely had anybody else signed up. We might have been first. I don't know if we were first or, I mean, there was probably a bunch of people. I remember those guys, the owners sitting in the room with Rick Mancham and Judy and like not begging, but almost like, hey, we want to start this, you know, and they came from, they used to have Agilite. I think they sold Agilite. They had a 5-year non-compete. They started another company and almost begging because they didn't have business at the time. We signed them on. We sold them for many years, put them out front. And then through all the market changes, through all the acquisitions, the bottom line is, and they were good friends of ours. I said that before. I still like those guys now. Like I still walk by them. I'm like, man, I wish I could hang out with those guys still. But so with the acquisitions, we saw Principal sign up Grimco, Principal drops Wensco, right? That's a theme. Principal signed up Grimco, Principal drops Wensco. We had a lot of reasons for it, but anyways, that's what happened. And in the meantime, that's why, you know, the first video went viral because I ranted about it. And then we started this podcast because of it. So we could explain it and explain what we were thinking. And then now we can like, I guess, well, that's what started the United LED too, which is, you know, other distributors are picking up. It sells very, very well. Whiter, brighter, cheaper. Yep. Right. And the reason we'll say it again, the reason we're whiter, brighter, and cheaper is because we do the exact same thing Principal does, except we don't have Principal in the middle, or we don't have the Yorston group trying to help sell it. We have Chinese factory, Wensco, customer. They have Chinese factory or Vietnam, wherever they're getting them made. Principal, Yorston, put them all as one. Distributor, you. So they have this 100 people, 150 people. They probably have $2 million a year in labor into those bags of LED before they get to the distributor, where we have literally nothing except the Chinese factory. That's why we can make them better and still cheaper and wider. And they've recently come out with one that's a 24 volt that they forgot the brighter and whiter part, but they did get the cheaper part. So they're not necessarily cheaper than ours, but you look at them, like, and I said in the other podcast, they didn't even put their name on it.
I don't think we actually said it yet on the podcast. Though.
So anyways, they came out with a 24 volt. They did not even put their name on the module, whether they couldn't afford to put the name on it or they didn't want to take credit for it. Either way, there's no name on the module. Our modules clearly say GSG makes it. Whoops. G2G makes it.
I don't think GSG is making much of anything anymore.
Beat that out because that was a bad mistake. G2G makes it.
On the first episode
and
we did.
It's a United module that's tied directly to Wensco and others. So anyways, that came about. Now, let's fast forward. We're at the ISA show last week, and we saw this happening early in the week. Other acquisitions that have happened, the GSG acquisition from Grimco, we saw it happening, and we knew what they were going to do. And I believe I talked to Mark, our equipment manager, and I made him schedule a meeting with Vanguard because we saw Vanguard's going to sign up Grimco, and they didn't schedule a meeting with us. So Mark scheduled a meeting with us. Make them drop us in person. Don't let them send an email like Principal. Make them drop us in person because we knew Vanguard signs up Grimco, Vanguard drops Wensco. Much like what happened 15 months ago. Principal signs up Grimco, Principal drops Wensco. Okay, well, Vanguard signs up Principal, Vanguard drops Wensco. So we sat in a meeting with two people we knew, one person we had never met before. And we ask, like, hey, what's going on? Like, and the guy we've never met before kind of wish-washed around the bush and like, okay, well, so then I think it was Judy that said, why don't you just tell us? And it wasn't the two guys that we know. They had this other guy tell us. They couldn't even look us in the eye. They couldn't tell us. It's like, who makes the decisions around there? Who really makes the decisions? And I don't want to tell you, I want to talk more about the whole Vanguard thing. Like, I want to tell you why, like, this one's not is not nearly as upsetting as Principal, because to be honest, they weren't very good dealers to us. Like, they sold direct, and And to be honest, their excuse was, well, we're muddying up the waters. We
want to grow the business.
We want to grow the business.
We want to sell more units, and we're going to drop you.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah. What do we sell? 2 million with them last year? Yeah. We don't want that business anymore. No. We want something new.
On equipment specifically. Yeah.
So
here's, I'll give you here's the timeline of what happened. So we sat in the meeting and they said, basically, hey, the current distribution model we have is way too muddy. We're getting pressure, so we need to sell way more. We need to, we need to triple our business this year. And so we're getting rid of some dealers is what they said. They didn't say Wensco at the time. They just said, we're getting rid of some dealers. And that's what Judy said. Okay, can you be honest about it? Like what is going on here? And first of all, that doesn't make sense. But second of all, here's the timeline, right? So they said, this isn't because of another distributor that we just signed up. That was the first thing he said immediately. He's like, just so you know, but here's the layout of how this whole thing actually went down. Okay. And you can tell me whether you think it's because they signed up another model. Vanguard signs up Grimco Canada.
Correct.
And they drop every other dealer in Canada.
Except
they allow Grimco to go exclusive in Canada. And then a week later, we get dropped. But it has nothing to do with Grimco.
Oh, it probably doesn't.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Probably doesn't.
But because they need to sell more units.
Yeah, they need to sell more units.
Naturally, what you do when you want to sell more is you reduce your sales force.
What I liked he said too, because we obviously dealt with them selling direct. I mean, we'll talk about the whole year where they screwed you over, Tyler. They probably still owe you money. But anyways, he says right in the meeting, we're probably going to sell a lot of units direct. We're only going to use a dealer when we need a dealer.
Yeah.
Do you think Grimco signed up for that? You think Grimco said, yeah, I'll sign you on. You can sell direct right in my area. And they do. So let's talk about what year was that, Tyler?
20
in sales.
Oh shoot, 22, 3. I don't remember when.
Whatever year Tyler was in sales, we all went down to Vanguard.
The timeline of this is important. We went in like March or April.
We went in March. I think we went in March, and they offered a spiff to the sales rep. If you sell 5 units, they will spiff you $5,000. So Tyler had one in the works at the time, right?
We had invoiced it, but not installed it.
Yeah, we have not installed the machine yet. So towards the end of the year, Tyler's at 5, counting that first one.
Yep. So they said, when we were down there, they said, yeah, that first one, the one that you already have in the pipeline doesn't count. I was like, okay, well, that's kind of a bummer. I wish you'd, told us. But they said like, oh, for this year. But they meant like starting now, they don't want to pay for the one that we already did, which was the only one, by the way. It wasn't like they had to pay out like 10 of them.
So then towards the end of the year, we brought them a lead. And how Vanguard works is you register a lead with them. It is your lead specifically as that vendor. We registered a lead with them. The company's You the Fan, right?
Yeah.
You the Fan's a company.
It doesn't make a difference.
It doesn't matter. We'll say it now.
Get the list anyways.
Yeah. They're going to get the list. I mean, Grimco's got the list anyways, right?
Grimco's going to get everything.
So it's You the Fan. We give them the lead. And actually the lead came through Roland, but the Roland machine was not the right machine for them. They needed to go faster. Roland didn't make a machine fast enough for them.
They saw the Roland one and were like, this won't work. So that's when it went to.
So it went to Vanguard. And the story is there wasn't enough room for us, the dealer, in the deal. They sold it direct, which would have been Tyler's fifth machine.
5th under the promo, 6th of the year.
Yeah, 6th of the year, 5th under the promo. But they took it direct because there wasn't room for us, which is not a dealer you want to deal with. And then proceeded to sell them a couple more units direct. And we even have in writing that they would compensate us if they sold another one direct. They sold another one direct. When we emailed them, they didn't have the money to spiff us. Money's too tight. So you're telling me Vanguard and Durst don't have enough money to spiff something that they already promised? If they're that tight on money, would you buy one of those machines? Or would you think, hey, maybe they're going to cut corners on components too? Or did you just flat out lie to us?
Yeah.
Because it's one of those two things.
Yeah.
Either we are flat out lied to, or they're going to cut corners. And we're not going to get an answer, but that's the answer that needs to be answered.
Yeah.
So, and then going back to, were they planning on like, okay, well, did they drop us just because of Grimco? Just recently, our rep Dustin was in here. Didn't say anything that we're doing wrong.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I got a lot of opportunities. We're doing really good. It was all positive talk. They just recently sponsored the podcast.
Yep.
They just brought Mark down to Nashville to like, hey, look how sweet my office looks routine. Or whatever that was. I think was that what it was for?
Yeah, it was sweet.
It was, hey, look how sweet. Look at my office furniture.
The launch of their new demo center.
Oh, it's demo center? I thought it was to see how sweet their office was.
I mean, it probably both. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looks sweet. I'm not going to lie to you.
Listen, I know another company that got a new building and built it like really sweet offices, and then they didn't make it.
It's Advantage, by the way. That was the joke.
There's always going to be some Advantage jokes in there, but you know what? I wouldn't trade it for the world.
So this all just recently happened. Then all of a sudden, within a few days, we're dropped.
Yeah,
right.
And
we're not giving them their money back for that Vanguard. You're not getting it back. We're trading it in for that money you owe us for that machine.
I don't know what you're talking about, but
I have no idea either.
The money for the podcast, the sponsor. You're not getting it back. We're trading it in for that money you owe us for the machine.
It still is a loss on my end. One, because I don't get the money. Actually, that's the main point. That's all I have to say about it. No, so the other thing that's weird about it, right? So we've been dealing with Dustin in old Jim, not the new Jim that we just met.
Yeah,
old Jim.
For a long time. I mean, Domingos specifically has been dealing with them for we were friends for a long time.
Yeah. And now it's actually put a wrench in it. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But it was very hard looking at them. They would not look at me in the eye. And I can understand why.
Yeah.
But to me, I think that decision was made by Durst, not by Jim or Dustin.
That was kind of my
that's
point.
What hurts.
That's the point of where I was going with this is, yeah, they absolutely did not want to look at us during the meeting, and two, looked absolutely destroyed by the time we got to the end of that meeting.
Right.
Like they knew what was happening. They couldn't do anything about it. And I say that to say, like, prior to the Durst thing happening, right, Jim was like the guy at Vanguard, right? So in terms of like decisions that we're making, that was who we basically would have talked to for all of that stuff. And for him to sit there and obviously be like very, it was not a fun thing. He did not want to sit there for that meeting. He did not want to see it. Tells me like it's not, like you said at the beginning, who's making the decisions over there? It doesn't seem like it's Jim. It doesn't feel like, I mean, this is the same thing we said about the principal thing. It doesn't feel like it was their decision.
Right. It wasn't their decision.
It's someone else's decision.
Somebody else is driving it.
When we signed up Vanguard, we signed them up, I mean, basically because of Jim. That's why we signed them up, right? We're like,
correct.
You have a great vision. We see where you're going. You're going to make good machines. This is great. Let's keep going. But now it's not the same company, right? And they're caught up under Durst, right? They can only go in a certain price range now. They can't go too high or too low. And the new machines are different for sure. They're not their standard bread and butter. I mean, they're making totally different machines. They got a school bus in their stinking booth at the last show. So the reasons we originally signed them up, it feels like those were already felt like they were going away, I think is what our impression was. Like we're just getting kind of the short end of the stick over and over again since this whole acquisition happened. And then to have this happen was like, okay, yeah, our feelings on this were accurate, right? The people that we signed up that were originally driving the bus aren't driving the bus anymore. They might be helping, but they're not steering.
I think it turned into, it was about them. And whether it was about them or it was about like they need to move machines for Durst, because even that guy, when we were in Fast Signs show, right? That Fast Signs show, we registered the lead. Yeah. We were working the lead. They came to our booth. We're like, well, the machine you're going to buy is literally right there. They walk over to that booth. They bought from them. It's not supposed to be possible.
Yeah.
I would have never sent them over there because it shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Per their agreement. But then it quickly turned like, okay, Durst or Vanguard is about Vanguard or Durst.
Yeah.
Like that's when I started to know, like, okay, we got to start looking someplace else. And then this kind of all fell through. And I mean, we had a meeting before that meeting, right?
Yeah.
Like we knew they're dropping us. And our meeting really was like, hey, if they're going to drop us, let's just walk out of there. Like, let's just put our heads up and walk out of there. And that's pretty much what we did. And they could tell, like, we already knew it was happening. So, but it's just sad. It's just sad that we had to schedule the meeting. They couldn't come to us. Like, but I understand. Like,
they did not want to have the meeting.
But I don't understand the lack of loyalty in our industry at this point. It's just pathetic.
It's starting to be really
absolutely pathetic. You know, I'm loyal sometimes to a fault. Like I even think of like back when I was younger, the only place that gave me a credit card was Montgomery Ward's. Remember Montgomery Ward's?
Oh yeah.
So I bought all my furniture from there until they went out of business, because if they didn't have Montgomery Ward's, I was sitting on a stool in my living room to watch TV because nobody would give me money to buy a couch. Mm-hmm. And so I was loyal to them until they went out, because I could always remember I'd have been sitting on a stool, not a couch, if they weren't there for me. And other people are like, oh, thanks for helping me. Screw you. The second they get it, oh, this is $1 cheaper, or I get a better opportunity over here. Like it's just sad that it's come to like just the ethics of what we got going on in our industry is just terrible.
Well, I think it's driven by one company.
Well, I think so too.
And right now, that's what concerns me is this company is not only screwing the customers, but they're finding ways to try to kill the dealers.
Yeah.
And it's business, I understand, but you're really not doing the customer any favors. Because right now, when I look at it, you know, I also look at it from a vendor standpoint. What are the other vendors thinking right now?
Yeah.
Because they're starting to be dictated by this company.
Well, we can say it to all our vendors right now. We're actively looking for or getting away from distributors or vendors. We're actively getting away from vendors that have too many eggs in that basket.
Correct.
And we're just not going to sell their products. And it's not just us. Yeah. It's every other person but them.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to turn. That's what this industry is going to turn into within the next 3 or 4 years. There's going to be them and us.
Yep.
And they're big enough where it can be them and us. Like, and just as vendors, you're going to have to pick a team, with the exception of the huge ones. You know, like a 3M or Avery, but that could even happen to them.
You know, to be honest with you, they're great partners with us. You know, for instance, I'll just call it out, Arlon. They said no, right? Who knows if that's going to change? Who knows what's going to happen? But still, for somebody to say that, that's great. Who are we going to lead with? Products, any product that is not with that company, right? So when I look at a vendor, going back to the conversation, what is HP going to do?
Yeah.
You know, that Vanguard that lower model is strategically against that HP.
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
It is basically in their, basically from what you know from former Advantage Ace, it's basically completely against the
exactly
HP
dealership.
And we're sitting here, we got to make a decision too, because we got to sell flatbed. I mean, we technically sold one after that meeting.
We did.
Like they let us sell one more. Like at least I stood up there. Like we did sell another one.
Yep.
So we sold one, I think yesterday or the day before, something like that, or maybe it's today coming through.
It was Tuesday.
So, but we got to look. What are we going to sell? Are we going going HP? Are we going CET? Are we going Fluid Color? Are we going Fuji? Are we going Canon? Like
Mamaki?
Are we going Mamaki?
There's so many
are we
options.
taking the Epson? Like we already sell the Roland, but like we know like where the Roland fits in that mix. Yeah. So we got to make a decision, and I'm going to tell you right now, we're not going to lose a sale to Vanguard. We are not going to lose a sale to Vanguard, because like I said about when I talked about LEDs, we don't have to make money on LEDs. Principal does. We don't have to make money on flatbeds. Durst does.
Yeah.
So are we willing to sacrifice a little bit? Yeah, absolutely. Just to take those deals. When you piss us off, like that's where we're at. Like I won't lose a deal. Like if we know we're up against Vanguard, we're getting that deal.
Yeah.
Like, or you're going to make zero, or Vanguard's going to make zero money on it.
Correct.
And that's just how it's going to be from here on out in our area. And if they drop more, I guarantee they'll do the same thing. And so it's just, it's a bad battle, but I mean, it's business, and we play nice until we're not played nice with.
Yeah.
And then we become the schoolyard bullies.
Yeah. And to make it worse on this, one of the biggest, like in terms of like the actual pain points on this, right? Like not being able to sell Vanguard, right? That's in short term, it's going to suck, right? Because we don't have an exact solution as we're recording this, right? That may change fast, but
it's going to change.
But in the immediate,
Judy,
get her on. She always calls during the podcast.
We need like an alert, like a company alert. Don't call, please. Sorry to interrupt you guys, but I just want to take a minute to talk about Nakusa, the name behind our tape. Our tape's the #1 application tape out there, but they are more than just tape now. Nakusa has a full range of products out there. Their new one is called Nexbond. This is a UV cured adhesive. Why does that matter? It's an eco-friendly and durable option, but comparable to most of the eco-friendly options, this is a cost-effective product. So if you're looking for an eco-friendly product or a durable product or just in general a good vinyl, Nexbond is going to be the one for you. This is available at Wensco.com as well as all of their other products. So check it out at Wensco or reach out if you have any questions. Oh, and don't forget to use your Nakusa bucks. Have you heard about Metamark? Metamark is a company that sells premium graphic solutions for commercial and fleet signage. So whether that's walls or it's vehicles or it's tables or doors, we loved it so much we put it all over the podcast studio. So you can check it out on our videos or at Wensco.com. Anyways, one of the big cons is that, so we register every lead, right? For Vanguards with Vanguard, meaning Vanguard has every lead that we have ever registered.
Except wait, we just went through all our sales reps to get with Mark. We never gave it to him because I told Mark we don't trust him.
Well, that's a benefit. But
listen, that was over a month ago.
Yeah.
So like over a month ago, we recognized like, hey, they keep selling these stupid things direct. Like we shouldn't give them our leads because if they feel, oh, we're in a competitive situation, we can only sell direct and they're not going to compensate us, then don't give them the leads.
Yeah.
Like work them privately. But but the ones we had in the system, they have them.
So
but Vanguard, we'll also be in there.
So Vanguard has them all, right? Which means they're going to give them to somebody, right? They would be dumb not to give them away. And there's only one person they're going to give it to in our area, meaning that this competitor that they just signed up is going to get every account that we've ever sold to. They're quite literally taking business from us and moving it to another distributor. And a distributor that most of the time, the reason that we have that customer in the first place is because they didn't want to buy from them in the first place anyways. So you're taking business from our current customers and giving it to a distributor that they already didn't want to do business with. And it's their only option. They don't have another choice. They're like, if you want to buy ink, you're going to be stuck.
And that's where it boils down to. They won't buy a second one. Most of those people won't buy another one. They'll buy what we're selling. We've said it on this podcast before. And by the time they're ready, we'll have another solution, and we'll get those out of there. At least in our area, and I'm sure other people will do the same thing.
Yeah, and I'd say that this could change, right? The whole reason we didn't date this because we don't know what's going to happen in the next week or so. But currently we'll service we're not going to service the machines, but in terms of the customers and inks, as of we're recording this right now, we still have you covered. We should be fine. They made that was about the only thing they made very clear in our meeting, was that one, they would service any leads in our pipeline. Well, thank you guys for letting us sell one of your machines. That's so nice of you. And then they would let us have the ink business. But as soon as this competitor gets the leads, right, they're going to be in there knocking on doors and converting all the business over, whatever it's going to take them to do it, right? They're going to drop the price as low as they need to do it. And it's theirs at this point, right? We're not gonna be able to really take it back from them. So, but I just want to make the point, like literally it is a vendor of ours literally just taking business from us and just moving it to
the reason you sell these machines is for the ink. And now you're going to probably take the ink from us, which is, it's just,
and who knows what else.
Yeah. There's some of these companies that, they don't even know about, right? We found them.
Yeah.
Right. So I think of Duflo. They don't know who he is. They have no idea who he is.
Yeah.
But now they will.
Yep.
And
they're going to know an account name.
They're going to know account name. And will they go there? I don't know. They might.
Well, I mean, think about too, like
anybody that comments on our podcast though gets visited within 24 hours.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to be visited by them, don't comment and don't like our YouTube because they will be there within 24 hours.
Because they listen.
Because they listen and they watch who likes it and they go directly there. Hey, and the pitch is, I was standing there. Hey, whatever you buy from Wensco, we can sell it to you cheaper. And the response back was, get the F out of here. Was the response back to him. Yeah. And the guy's like, huh? And he's like, I'm not joking.
Yes, I'm like, leave.
That's the more customers we need.
Yeah. That's the kind we need.
Stand up.
I mean, it's getting to the point where they're burning enough people that they're there. But yeah, I mean, like this situation, like who wins here? There's only one. There's one person that wins.
The customer doesn't win.
Does not win.
It isn't not even Vanguard's on that list of winners. There's one winner. That's it.
I don't. I'm gonna put it out there right now. In 4 years, is the Vanguard still around?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
If you limit yourself to one model, who, as we've been talking about them for forever, is apparently going to service them, but currently doesn't have. They don't have no techs to currently do it. They're planning on hiring some. The amount that they're planning on hiring, because we know that amount, is about 20% more than we currently have to service 6 states. And they're going to service all 50 of them with that same amount.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's going to be a different scenario than that. I mean, they might be able to figure that out, right? They're smart people. They can use Bell and Howell. They can figure something out. But what have they been doing? They've been buying manufacturers or private labeling. They're on step 1. What's step 1? Step 1's laminators. Step 2 is printer. Step 3 is flatbed. Yep. They will have their own laminator, printer, flatbed within 4 years. Grimco will.
Yeah.
Probably. And then where's Vanguard?
Yeah. Where do you fit in?
Where do you fit in that mix? You're not in Canada anymore. Yeah. You're not going to be in the United States anymore.
Yeah.
Look at GFP.
You're not don't even come back and talk to us.
Yeah.
That'll be a bad meeting.
Yeah. Look at GFP. Look at all those laminators, people that manufacture the laminators.
Yeah.
They're looking at it going, we're probably going to be out soon. So it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I personally, if they have the money and they have the people to do it, what Grimco's doing is relatively smart, right?
Yeah.
You're cutting out because does GFP actually make their laminators? No, they get them made over there, but they control the specs. They control. There's a lot of knowledge I don't have built in that. But Grimco has the people. They're doing it right. Just got to know, like, there's no room for, like, what would HP do if they made their own printer?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. Especially, with this.
But a press is easier than a printer, right?
100%.
Like they can go to the same people that make the CET and the fluid color, and even they can go to the people that make the Vanguard and say, hey, I want you to make one for us. We're going to buy 30 of them this year. Okay, done.
Yeah. Especially in the current climate, right? That's probably why the laminator made sense, is because everyone's nervous about things coming from that side of the world. So anyone that knocks on your door now is like, hey, I would like to bring you more business right now. And they're like, yeah, absolutely, right? They're worried about it going away at this point. So they're excited. But yeah, I don't know. It feels like we're in a situation where if you can't win on price and you can't win on service, your goal is just make sure that you don't have to compete with us at all. That's what it feels like. And that's actively what's happening, right? And now and Bonnie pointed out, which is hilarious. She said, well, you guys said it's 2. This is 3. This is round 3. We always forget about the first one.
Yeah.
What was the first one?
ACM.
Oh, yeah.
So they've been following the same model for however long that's been, 4 or 5 years now, where it's, okay, we can't win. So how about instead, let's just make sure that they can't sell that product.
Correct.
Right? And I don't think it 100% worked. I mean, you can look at our ACM sales and know that we moved all that business plus some. So
yeah, we didn't lose a penny. We actually gained on ACM, by far gained.
Yeah. And the principal thing is going to turn out the same way. That's a slower one for sure. That's a more technical product to switch people off of, but looking at our trends, we're going to be up at the end of this year compared to what we were when they dropped this. So
all of our vendors that we run on for LEDs is all up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the beauty of it. You
add them all up. Yeah. And I think United will probably pass maybe by the end of this year, United will pass what Principal had.
Yep.
And that's just 3 modules. We'll have sticks coming soon. Oops. Am I supposed to say that?
You're not supposed to say that.
You can say whatever you want.
We'll have United sticks coming soon. 24 volt.
And power,
33 minutes
and
in,
you know
that's
what?
a
Might as well
Easter
just say
egg.
it. Power supplies are coming
Well, as long as we're back on Principal.
Power supplies were supposed to be here already.
a long time ago.
A customer explained it to me this way on Principal because I was in there with United and I was explaining the United, explaining why we have the United, why it can be brighter and whiter. And he said, doesn't it kind of feels like, for me, it's like when I'm at Walmart and I buy a fan, he's like, they ask if I want the $4.99 for replacement. He goes, that's kind of like Principal. He goes, you buy the modules and then you way overprice for their power supply because you need that for the warranty. He goes, basically you're paying for the warranty in the power supply. I said, man, you're probably right. Because United, we can use France, Allenson, or G2G.
And they will still do the warranty.
Principal,
I thought you were gonna say it again.
I almost said it wrong. Principal, you buy their lights, and then you have to pay $30-$40. What is it?
That's generous, but yeah.
Maybe $50 for their power supply. Where ours, you buy the lights cheaper than their lights, and you can buy the $15
whatever power supply.
Yeah, you can buy the $15 power supply with the same warranty as the Principal one. So, yeah, you're basically paying for the warranty in the power supply. And
just know that when you see the new module and they don't mention power supplies at all, there's a real good reason why they don't talk about it. I'm just telling you, we've seen pricing. It's not good. It's not looking good over there.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
pricing's going up.
The reason they can, so they probably have the math, right?
Yeah.
Like they sell this many lights to this many power supplies.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if we mark our lights way down, but mark our power supply up, and we just talk about the lights, we don't say anything about the power supply.
Yeah.
We can make the same amount of money, which is very smart if you don't have a podcast like this saying it to 90% of our industry.
And we don't mention it to every single person that we've ever run into, ever.
So, but I like obviously G2G makes the United. I like what he's doing. He's hired some people. He's got more people on the street.
Yep.
We're having someone internally that'll be fully trained in LEDs also.
Yep.
So we're going to put a guy out there full time, just going after Principal business, nonstop.
Yeah.
And I know we'll outwork the people in our area without a doubt. Like we know who's in our area trying to sell Principal. He's getting outworked if he works 1 day a week. So
we're in a real good spot with it. And yeah, we just keep getting put in this spot. And I think, Rick asked us if a certain competitor has something against us. That's why this keeps happening. Could be hard to know.
I think
they're obviously watching everything we do. We know because we made the joke about anyone that comments on the podcast gets a personal visit from a sales rep.
If you want the United module, don't comment on our get us through the website, because if you comment, they will show up at your door. I guarantee it. Like they do every single time. So say if you're in Bismarck and you're looking for Principal and you had to go to a different company to get Principal and you want to actually see the United, we can help you out from there. We can ship for free.
Hypothetically.
What's the best way to contact us?
sales@wensco.com.
Yep.
You contact sales@wensco.com. We'll get you with a sales rep, or we'll get you with me, whatever. And we'll get you. Don't comment on the podcast.
Yeah. And also know that if your model is, hey, if they comment, you have to go out and see them. It doesn't work well when the customer you send them out to has never seen that rep before.
Yeah.
You can't go in the first time and be like, hey, I'd like to sell it to you for cheaper. And they'd be like, I have no idea who you are, so you can leave.
Yeah.
And, if they've been there a few times, I was just talking about, we obviously hired some new reps. I won't mention names here, but they were asking oh, what was it like when I was out there? And I said, you have to earn the ask. If you're going to go in there and ask, hey, I see you're buying X. Why aren't you buying Wensco's Y? And you can't go in there on the first day and ask that, right? You can't go in and be like, hey, I see you're buying this really crappy ACM panel that I won't mention names right now, but we might have made a video about it.
I was thinking the same.
I almost said it. I did say it. But you can't go in there the first time and ask for it, right? And that's what And that's what the competitor's asking their sales reps to do. It's like, hey, go in there and immediately be like, hey, we can sell it to you cheaper. And it'll work sometimes, right? You're going to run into customers that are like, price is the only thing that matters to them, in which case you'll probably win. Cool. It's yours. The problem is, I think for most of our industry, especially the people that have been doing this a long, long time, you have to earn that ask. And they haven't earned it because they haven't gone in there, right? So when you're going in cold and being like, yeah, I heard you buy United, we'd love to sell you this. Or here you buy Alpha, we'd love to sell you this. They don't care, right? You haven't earned that right to even give them a recommendation, right? Why would they trust whatever you're recommending them? I've never even seen you before.
Well, the things that I run into is that Grimco goes in, says that they'll beat our price. Fine. Customer takes that price and does it. And then when they have a problem with it, they call Grimco and Grimco says, oh, here's the manufacturer's number.
Yeah.
But we don't do that.
Yeah. So that brings
you can look us up. Go to Signs 101.
Yeah.
If you type in Wensco, you will find. Yeah, I don't think there's any bad comments, but you'll find a fair amount where like, hey, I bought this. Even I bought it wrong. I called Wensco. They returned it. No questions asked. Which that's how we are here. We're like I've said before. I'm not looking to make money right now. I'm looking at when these kids are our age. They're making money. That's where we're at. Like that's the goals we have when we sit and we talk about when we actually want to make, more money. We've talked about the year we want to make more money.
We want to grow the business with the customer.
We want to grow.
We want to grow. We want to grow. We want the customer to grow. We want that relationship. And I think that's what Wensco does. I mean, we listen to the customer and we want to be there for them. Unfortunately, there's a lot of disruptors there in the industry, as we can see. And unfortunately, what I don't like is when a customer takes the chance and goes to a lower price or goes to that product or buys it from the competitor, and then all of a sudden they're in a bad pickle.
Yeah. And
I get the email or I get the phone call, hey, Domingo, what can I do? And it's like, when you buy it from them, I want to help you, but I can't take the product back because you didn't buy it from us.
Yeah. So this brings up a good point. So Tommy, shout out Tommy Fricano, Avery Dennison. Whew, getting called out for that one. He said, hey, I need to talk to you at the ISA show when I got there. And I was like, that doesn't sound good. I don't know what's going on. And I was like, okay, I'll come back later and we can talk. So I come back. He's like, hey, you really need to have our back. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, we sell so much of your stuff. What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I saw your post on one of the rap pages on Facebook. And he said, yeah, you were talking bad about us. I was like, one, no chance that ever happened. I was like, two, what are you talking about? So he explains it to me. And what had happened was somebody posted that they had like a defective roll, and it happened to be a roll from Avery Dennison. And the post said, I have a roll. I've reached out to the distributor and they said, get a hold of the vendor. And then they got a hold of the vendor and the vendor was being slow to take care of it, which across the board is how that works, right? It doesn't matter. Every vinyl manufacturer across the board, if you have to reach out to them for warranty or anything like that, it is a long process. Yes. So what I commented was, if your distributor won't take care of it, you need to find a new distributor. That's all I commented. But he thought I was talking about
a vendor,
Avery Dennison. That's who he thought I was talking about. I was like, no, I was talking about they buy it from one certain customer. And I know because I looked at their profile and then looked at their location and I immediately knew who they bought from. And I was saying, if they're not going to take care of it for you, then you're obviously buying from the wrong person. Right. And now what's going to happen is you have Vanguards out there that before we would have been the first call for that. Right. And instead they're going to call us in 4 months and we're going to say, we cannot help you. We would love to. We physically cannot, right? We will not get paid.
We're not allowed.
And they're going to call this new person. And what are they going to say? Here's the phone number to Vanguard.
Exactly.
Call them. And I can tell you, they don't have the bandwidth to handle all your calls. This isn't on them. It's because they have it set up where there is a buffer. And what I'm saying is they will not be the buffer for you. There's no shot. Right. And as much Vanguard, as we would love to help you, we're physically getting removed.
And Vanguard will charge you for the phone call.
Yeah.
So we just had one. Adam needed to use them. Couldn't figure something out. One of our techs called Vanguard. They charged $125. They charged us $125 for the call. Like it should have been. I mean, it was a machine out of warranty. Should have been charged to the customer. We didn't charge the customer.
Yeah.
But now, guess what, Mr. Customer, getting charged, guaranteed. Yeah. They charge for phone calls. They're going to want your credit card before they even explain anything about the machine. So just, it is what it is.
Yeah. So I just say that to say, like, I mean, we always take care of our customers. I mean, that example that I'm talking about on Facebook literally happened to me yesterday, right? I had a customer call me. You can guess who it was because of customers that call me. There's only like 3 of them. And said,
"Oh, your number one customer?"
Yeah, our number one. I don't say his name because then the Grimco rep will show up there again. So, Tim, you're welcome. I don't want him showing up. Anyways, he calls me and he's had this issue before. This was like a long time ago. And he just is like, "Hey, I'm having the same issue on this product. I have 2 rolls. Can we get it fixed?" And I said, "Yep." I said, just give me, I need to know the width. I was like, just what's the width and the product, obviously. And I was like, yep. And put it in return. And we swapped out the 2 rolls. How long it's going to take for the vendor to give us credit on it, which they will, is probably it's going to take us a while. It always does. But rather than the customer waiting or being out that money, like it's already done. Yeah. The whole process on their end is done. It's not working. I see the picture. Yes, it's not working. Tomorrow I have your old rolls. You have 2 new rolls, and we don't ask any questions besides to making sure that it's actually defective and it's not the same customer getting it right. But you're not going to get that. Really, I mean, some other distributors, but not the new ones that are getting signed up and the reason we're getting dropped. So,
and it goes back to my point that customers are going to suffer. That's the problem.
Yeah, I asked that earlier. Who wins here?
Yeah.
And we never answered the question. There's only one company that wins in this situation. It isn't the sign shop. Definitely not us.
Yep.
I don't even think it's Vanguard.
No.
Just the new distributor. That's it. And I don't know what kind of promises they made to get put in that situation, but from our side, seeing how it's gone every other time, they're not going to uphold their end of the bargain. I mean, a perfect example of this, right? We got a promise in December? Can I bring this up now? I don't know if I can. We'll cut it out if I can't.
I got someone calling me texting me right now. Who's a prominent person in the industry. Like he would be like someone that everybody knows. Wants to know he's going to be in Toledo and needs some help, and we help him out.
So, anyways, at the beginning of this year, a certain company made a promise about how long employees would get to keep their jobs.
Oh, yeah. Bring it up.
They made a promise at the beginning of the year. They said
this is very near and dear to Domingo's heart right here because
he's in the same boat. Yeah. So I'll explain it. You can chip in on this, right? So beginning of the year, Grimco acquires GSG, right? And they say, okay, we're going to keep this business just the way it is through the following December is what they said. That was at the beginning of the year. And I said, I wish we could we'll try and find the clip. If we don't find it, we won't play it here. But I said, there's no way they hold up that end of the bargain. It doesn't make sense. They have all the same locations. They're not going to run two locations in sync at the same time.
And it'd be foolish to do that too.
Correct. And they made it to April. They let go of, from what we know, somewhere between 100 and 200 people. Yeah. 150 is the
150
best,
plus is what I heard.
The best recommendation I heard the week before ISA.
I know there's plenty of angry GSG people that are allowed, that are like
G2G and still get around.
GSG. Like there's plenty of angry people that have come and talked to us that, and obviously we can't hire all of them. We didn't, but like, yeah, they were told one thing, and then, but a lot of them didn't want to stay anyways, right? Most of the upper management or the management team left for some other place. Either went to a vendor or went to a different industry. Like they all didn't want to stay.
Yeah.
Right. Which
the people that did stay, you have 2 years. So get ready.
Yeah.
If you can make it past 2 years, well, I made it past 2 years, but no. Goodbye. So
I just said
prepared.
I don't blame you guys.
Committing to promises.
I don't blame you one bit.
they're committing to things, and they're not upholding their end of the bargain. And this one is significant consequences, right? Where people are like, "Oh yeah, we'll be fine," and they're like, "Hey, you're gone." Like, it's not a good situation.
And they published it.
Yeah,
I don't know if we can bring that up.
Yeah,
but
also,
you can beep it out.
Yeah,
but
also,
well, I mean, they can say
put it on a flyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, how is it?
Why? Why would you put it on a flyer? Like one person has to drop that thing on the floor.
Or hand it to us.
Or literally give it to us.
Literally hand it to us. Hey, here's their plan.
Here's the plan.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
okay.
like, hey, FYI, this is what's happening. So yeah, they're not going to make it. They're making it half the time they originally said they would, which is, what we expected. But there was a lot of people that were holding out like, oh no, we'll be fine. Right. And I'd said, like, if you're in sales, their whole thing is they're going to try and get everything they can out of you and then dump you.
Yep.
That's what they're going to try and do.
They just want your contacts, your information,
Your
accounts, and see you later.
And now all those people that got let go, especially the ones in sales, if you're going to come back in the industry, if you can find a spot, that would be great. Just know that you have to go back and win your own business back.
Yep.
The business you already worked for the last 4 years, you now have to go and win it back again because you gave it to them.
Yeah, that's what.
I had an interesting walkthrough at the show. And by the way, I had a lot of hugs. 19 plus on the first day.
I did fail Rick. Rick said, make sure you get videos of the hugs. But Rick, there was so many.
Yeah, I should have done a hug cam.
Yeah. I literally just need to like wear a camera at the next show so I just can capture all of the things that happen to us.
How come we didn't get the influencer badge? Lori, ISA, come on.
Did you hear me talk about this?
Next year.
Next year we're going to get it?
Did you hear me talk about this?
No.
Yeah, you haven't heard this. Oh, so we know somebody that's on the ISA board.
I know a lot of people that are on the ISA
He might
board.
have left a certain company that we just mentioned and worked for another company that we work for very closely. And he said, I just want you to know, he said that everyone on the ISA board is very familiar with the podcast. He said,
So they need to play this right now. Lori, we should have influencer badges without a doubt.
he said, I just want you to know that they would love to get the word out there with all the stuff that they have going on. He said, but they are slightly concerned about the slightly serious aspect of the podcast. And I said, hey, it's not for everyone. You know?
So I can tell you that there's another funny story that happened at ISA. So I ended up at the West States, whatever, like they combined a bunch of the state things.
Yep.
Like, so it was all the Western states, Canada, Arizona, they all had.
You mean?
California. Sorry, what did I say?
Canada's not a state yet.
Yeah.
Soon enough.
That was for Don Long. You walked
Don Long?
Don Long. Yep.
So I was at the California, Arizona, Utah, whatever, and I was there for
association.
a sign association thing. And I was there for a specific reason, but like everybody wants to know, like, because we're pretty well known. Why are you here? I just, there's a reason I'm here. And like, there was a couple Grimco guys there. Why are you here? Huh? I don't know.
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a bunch of like, and even some sign shops that know you, like, because like one, I don't know them, but why are you here?
Yeah.
I guess you're all going to find out at some point.
Going to find out.
Just know that I heard at least 5 rumors about Wensco, and I did absolutely no part in telling people whether they were true or false. If anything, the false ones, I was pushing them further. I was letting other people know about what was happening. So it'll be a complete mystery. It's my goal. Nobody knows what's going on at Wensco. We have enough rumors that when something actually happens, people are like, oh, that one was true. Then they'll think all the other ones are true.
I mean, we haven't talked about like...
Just know that it's physically impossible for us to open in all 42 states at one time, but you'll let you think that we're opening in all of them.
Someone did. I don't. Have we ever talked about my myotonic congenia on this thing? Have we ever said anything?
I don't think so.
So I'll explain it really quick. So I have a disease called myotonic congenia, which is, it's a muscle disorder, affects your skeletal muscles, whatever. I have a lot of cramps, basically. That's narrowed down. You can look it up. Yeah. But warm weather makes a difference. So I live in Michigan right now. Man, it'd be nice to be in Texas in the winter. Man, it'd be nice.
Some very specific cities, actually.
So if you're wondering how bad it is, like I actually have, I'm permanently handicapped. I can load first. I can park in the handicap spot.
The Lone Star State.
But I'm really good in the summer. But I suck. I'll fall down in the winter.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
maybe I need to go to the Lone Star State.
Yeah, and economy has Florida covered, so we can't go there.
Yeah, we can't go there. We want them to stay there.
What else is south?
Somebody said they got their fingers crossed for us to be down there.
Was there
in Florida or Texas?
LinkedIn, Texas.
Yeah,
everybody wants to go to Texas.
Wasn't
I have connections in Texas too.
In Dallas? Wasn't that like their biggest?
Yes,
apparently.
That'd be a good place to be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be
nice. Domingo
that'd be
likes it.
interesting. I could show you around, and I could set that branch up.
Customers already buying United down there.
I wonder if they have like good people that were let go in Dallas that
think so.
I could use.
I heard allegedly. I also heard allegedly that they're not getting hired. So, allegedly.
Interesting.
I do like warm weather.
I think the interesting thing that I had was
I'm
at the
getting too old
show.
to fall.
At the show, I was at a competitor's booth and getting a beer.
Yep.
And the competitor said, "What the hell are you doing in here?" And I'm like, "Getting a beer." It's like, you need to get that beer and get out of here.
Free
and
beer.
I'm like, I was just like, why is he yelling at me? And then as I looked at him, I said, "Look, it's us against them."
Yeah.
And it kind of registered. He goes, "Yeah, you're kind of right."
Yeah.
Give us. Where was I when you guys were getting free beer?
Both times. You missed it both times. I did I was laughing when I walked back with
I'm
it
still
that time, and I was like,
I'm actually
But I'm going to give a
upset.
shout. But I'm going to give a shout out to Peggy at Glance. I love that girl. She is hilarious,
could've been
and
the
she
booth for
She is funny.
She is funny or never. I love her. She's a good girl.
Yeah, and so you guys owe me. So whatever that last day, I don't know where you guys went. I got stuck with babysitting Judy for the last 4 hours of the show.
I think we did our. Hey, you know what? High five. We did our job.
That's nonsense. Yeah, I was stuck babysitting her.
you know how hard. So that show did not feel very big, but it took us so long to walk the show on the last day.
Exactly.
And we already met with half the people. We just could not make it through the show. And it was like every 3 booths, we
literally at the end of the last day, the last hour almost is when we finished.
So the how it went for us.
Well, I was looking for you because we had to start that podcast.
Exactly.
So this is, I mean, the podcast is part of the reason why it takes us forever to go through the show now. But so the last day we're like, all right, we're going to walk the whole show, right? But we had a meeting at the end of the show. So we started at 0 and we got there at 9:30. And so at 10 o'clock, we start walking the show, right? The show gets done at 3. At 1 o'clock, we were at row 900. There's 27 rows. We were 1/3 of the way through, and we only had 2 hours left to walk the rest of the show.
I don't feel bad for you. I was stuck with Judy.
We had to speed run it,
Yeah, we did.
and we did. We
wasn't
skipped all
doing-
the ones in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 row, or the ending of that.
The good news of that show, though, is the first day of the show. Well, so we made us like, I don't know how long this has been on, but when Tyler pushed me down during that race and I tore my hamstring. The first day of the show was the first time I put my
put the
own
clip
socks and shoes on in almost a 2-week span. So
Good job.
So then nobody had to come put my socks and shoes on.
And of course, I was the closest one to your room.
But-
what was the bet? What was the thing?
Whoever's close to my room was going to have to put my socks and shoes
And
on.
I was the closest one. I'm
So-
like, oh my God.
Well, obviously, you're the closest. You're in the same room.
I did like those back rubs.
Oh, okay.
No, but
Just start more
so during
rumors.
that show though, like, you know, it was a high, like low butt tear kind of. So it was way high. By the end of that show, my whole foot was black and blue. All that
Yeah.
blood went all the way to my foot. Even my
gross.
toes were black and blue. It was nasty.
We almost got
gross.
you one of those little carts.
You know, I have one,
scooter.
right?
Yeah, a little scooter.
I have a handicap cart.
Sure.
That's
Easy
why
go.
I might have to go to Texas. So I don't have to use it.
Maybe. We'll see. Well, anyways,
I'm trying to get away from those menace grandkids.
This episode was about all the crappy things that happened to us at ISA. So hopefully this gives you an idea of kind of what's going on. When you're going to see the announcement from us officially, we'll probably link this episode. So hopefully if you've listened through this, you'll understand kind of what happened to us and know that, hey, we'd love to help you out. And we certainly can, just
We will.
not on a certain piece of equipment anymore.
But stay tuned for new equipment.
Is this all right? So are we done here? Is this one coming on after we did Jeff and Andrew? Is it Andrew? Andy.
Yeah.
Is this one?
Monday is
All right, I got
theirs.
one thing to say when we're all done.
Oh, well, I think I was doing the outro. What time? We're 57 minutes into this thing.
Okay, anyways, you, Jeff, and your tramp stamp. Beat that sucker out.
Wow, I'm glad I wasn't. I'm glad I wasn't there.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you. We'll see you at the next
Jeff.
show.
All right.
Guys, before we leave today, I just wanted to ask you one quick question, and that is, what is a pirate's favorite application tape? R tape. R tape is the #1 application tape in the United States, and it comes with an RLA, which is a release liner adhesion, meaning it's going to stick to the liner. Even on cut graphics, if you roll it, it's not going to tunnel, wrinkle, or curl, or anything like that. So if you're looking for the best application tape for cut graphics out there, R tape RLA is for you, and you can get it at wensco.com.
Now, hey, are we going to do a bonus episode for Don Long? For any subscribers?
Oh, no.
If you're a subscriber, we're going to do another episode right now for you.
What do you call the paid part? Member, subscription. If you're subscription based or member, we're doing an exclusive for you right now. Okay, let me look it up real quick. I'm gonna look. Hold on, I gotta go to.
What? We don't have time. We have 58
we
minutes.
just gotta say goodbye.
I need to know how you do it. Okay,
Should we say goodbye?
Oh yeah, you never said goodbye.
We can still say goodbye.
What's going on?
Whatever. Get out of here.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out. We appreciate you guys.
Well, we appreciate
wish you the best.
See ya.
Hopefully, life's great for you. And
ISA.
don't buy a
influencer
Vanguard.
badge.
Yeah, Print United. If you have an influencer badge, we'd love to have one.
If we
I don't know who's in charge there, but
if we get one from Print United before we get one from ISA, we ain't going to ISA anymore.
well, the problem is we might have different badges.
We probably will still go to ISA.
Well, yeah, because all of our fans are there.
Are we going to have Slightly Serious Sign podcast? Oh, we probably will be doing the Slightly Serious Sign podcast live at Print United.
Okay, so,
we need a booth.
If you made it to the end of this,
I think we're going to get a booth.
the paid.
No, we need a booth free.
Yeah, if you're a vendor and want to give us,
Who wants to sponsor it?
I'll take.
We're way out of control at this
take
point.
the
60
6
minutes in.
Anyways, if you want to hear the bonus episode, we're gonna record like another 15 minutes about somebody particular that we might have already talked about in this episode, and you can join. You have to be a paid member of the YouTube channel, and then you can see the bonus episode. Currently, just Don Long will see it, so we might talk about Canada a lot, but you'll get to see
51st
it.
state.
So, A.
Sorry.
Yeah, so become a member, and see you the next episode. So thanks, guys, and goodbye.
See ya.